Ladies and gentlemen, guess what fucking time it is?
Folks. Oh, shit. It's the Producer Lounge.
Wow.
Episode 82.
Wow.
Only on YouTube. Welcome to the show, folks. If you're listening in audio or if you're listening to this in post, welcome back.
Welcome,
If
everyone.
you're watching this live, welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
If you're watching this after an apocalypse and humankind is gone and this is the only living record that we existed,
Then we're the greatest comedians on the earth.
Welcome back,
Wow.
baby. That's going to peak. That's going to peak.
Yeah.
That's going to peak, too.
Today's a very special day. We were working out a contract with Twitch.
Yeah.
They were giving us a 9-digit, well, 8-digit. I was exaggerating a
It was
little bit.
basically 9.
Yeah, basically 9-digit little contract for the three of us to split.
Yeah.
But we hit up YouTube, and they wanted us a lot more.
And they
So-
price matched,
They price matched,
just like
and,
Walmart.
Yeah, they're giving us a little extra on the side,
yeah,
under the table. Probably shouldn't have said that, but
They're going to give us a shitload of bot views, which we're like, sure, it's going to boost the channel.
yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Got about 4 of them right now.
Right.
But yeah, fucking
Not quite
first,
a shitload, but we're on our way.
It's
our way.
quite a few, folks.
Yeah.
But on that note, welcome, everybody. This is the Producer Lounge. If you haven't surmised it yet, we sit here and we talk about music production for an hour or so. We'll have guests a lot of the times. Today we have our good friend,
Wow, it's been so long.
Florence.
Florence.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know. You're fine.
It's okay, Florence.
Florence is great. He's going to keep us company, as well as you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, throw them in chat.
Throw that shit in chat, man.
So we can answer them effectively or learn together.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. The whole time. The whole
Here to
time.
learn.
So, welcome, folks. Hit the sub button, hit the like button, lie to the algorithm for us. Be great. So, how's everybody's week?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's been an eventful week. A lot has gone down.
Let's go.
Yeah. Nothing for me as far as music goes, but life stuff,
Right.
roommate stuff.
Oh, my.
I know.
What happened to your roommate?
I don't know. It's a dark story. I don't know if YouTube will allow it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a little brutal.
That's true. I'm working on setting up a new studio.
Yeah.
Moved. And so it's been a lot of
Oh, are you the
measuring.
roommate?
Mm,
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
I don't
All right.
know.
Still working on this mystery, folks.
Yeah.
That's sick. Setting up a new studio is fun.
Yes,
So
it
it's
is.
a good time.
How's the space? What is the space like you're working in? Super reflective or small, big?
Yes.
It is like it's like 11 by 9.
Like a sheet of paper.
And there's a couple of random angles in it.
Oh, really?
And
Couple weirdies in
Yeah,
there?
it does have a couple like crop outs for like the windows and shit. There's
Yeah,
a
it's
couple
not.
odd
There's not a
things.
whole lot of much going on. It's a
No.
concrete ceiling and floor,
Okay.
and potentially another wall of concrete or two.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, in that way, there's kind of some solid factors going on, which is nice.
So what, a little bit smaller than the one you were just in? About the same, maybe?
It's a good question. It's a very similar size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be pretty similar. But I've been having fun. I realized I could just just cut a 2x4 in half, long ways, and do it with a little bit of an angle on it. Put one all the way across the wall, and then put the opposite side on the panel, so I can just ka-chunk.
Yep.
Lay it in there, and you
Yeah.
could do that. Just you
All
could
over
just
in the wall.
have a line of the 2x4 all the way around the room, and,
And then you can, like, slide 'em, move 'em around and
yep,
shit.
you could put them wherever you want
Yeah,
if you
it's a
have
move.
different ones.
That's cool. That's cool.
Pretty easy way to mount shit if you don't want to poke a bunch of holes in the wall,
Right.
which is typically a thing that we think about in our rental world that we live in.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so I've been doing a bunch of that bullshit. It's just been that
Yeah, tedious.
Yeah.
Setting it up and everything.
Fun though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fun figuring
Always
it
fun.
out.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a graph today. Like what?
Oh,
whatever.
cool. Yeah. And you're in just a
maybe
fresh
graph isn't
environment.
the right word. Yeah.
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 We'll change
Should
the
be
pace.
interesting. Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
We all
Can't
need
wait
it here
for
and
it
there.
to be sounding all pristine once again.
Yeah. And knowing your new roommate who's not used to the constant sound.
We'll see how
coming
that
from-
goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Caleb? What's been going on with you?
Chillin'.
Like a mad villain.
Yeah, worked on a mix for a client. That went pretty well.
Yes, it did.
First draft I had came back green. So
Oh.
like, okay,
No
cool.
shit. I didn't even
Yep.
know about that.
Yep.
Let's
So
go.
mixed that track, came out good.
Make that money.
Glad I don't ever want to hear that track again. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's fine. No, but it is fun to. We're technically paid mixing engineers now. Like it's basically like I can say that.
You guys
which
made
is
it.
fun to
Quit-
some extent.
Yeah.
Quit your job now.
Quit your job
Yeah,
now. You guys are good.
All right, and
Send it.
quit.
No.
Go.
Unless somebody
go.
has 30.
You got a lot of work for us to do.
Yeah, unless somebody has 30 of those mixes every 2 days.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Look, I will. I'll challenge any of you who are out there. Send your mix in, and let us mix it
Oh.
for the price and see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have anything set up for that, but you can just go to our Discord and ask. We'll be around.
Turny and Sound, we're challenging you. We're looking at you.
What?
I don't know. Just
I don't think the
I would
Discord
mix.
works in
I would
chat right now.
mix a
Turny
fucking
and Sound.
Turny and tune.
Oh yeah, you
That
kidding
would
me?
be a great.
That'd be
ass
super
time.
fun.
Yeah, that would be sick.
I would mix any like dub track. Be fun.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
and you know
yeah.
it's just going to
Can
be
you
fun to
imagine?
listen to the whole time. Like,
Well,
Right.
yeah.
yeah. And you get a sneak peek into Turnian.
I wonder how that would go.
Probably pretty good. I don't see why not. Yeah.
Here, I'll put a Discord link in there. I
Thank
wonder
you.
if YouTube, if the
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't check any of that before we
chat
went live.
goes away or something like that.
Or if I type in always400.com if it's going to have an issue.
Oh, because we had everything set up through Streamlabs, right?
Yeah, and it still is, but
Okay.
looks like that worked. Folks, you can get to the Discord via always400.com in
Wow.
the contact page.
Or right here. I just posted it. There's a link. Linky link.
I don't see the
If
link.
you're live.
No links in chat, Dave.
I wonder if it deleted your link
Oh, yeah, it totally
immediately.
did. It didn't even give us a notification. How weird
No.
is that?
But,
Oh, you
I had
put a
a-
space in?
no.
Oh, no.
I had a really fun production day today, though.
Yeah?
As I was showing you guys, we made some stupid ass little animation video. Or I guess I did. AT wasn't there, unfortunately. But
Too bad for him.
yeah, I was going into it with the mindset of like, how do I just make like the dumbest track possible, like the doofiest, shitpostiest track. And it's like that was a fun change of pace of like mentality going into a track, you know.
Right.
Because a lot of the time I am trying to have fun and like, you know, make art and enjoy the process. But like this, I'm usually going into it like, okay, I want to make something people would actually want to listen to, you know. But on this one, it's just random, you know.
Straight doof.
It's just doof, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just silly and it's like fun and playful and it's like I don't know, it's a fun mindset to
Yeah,
play
it's a good
around with.
time.
Yeah, I was going in and I was just like, oh, this is like a really dumb perk sound.
Welcome
Let me just
to
do a little.
Welcome to Party B.
I know, right?
That's I have to do the opposite. I have to like do a film score cue with like only string sections and timpanis for me to like get out of my normal headspace.
Yeah, right.
Because my normal headspace is like, how can I fucking troll everyone possible right now
You just exist,
while
in
making
that
it cool?
sphere.
Yeah, constantly. That's what Party B has done.
right?
It's just
Right.
it is how I look at music now. When I hear something super serious, especially like house, if it's house and it's super serious, I think it's so lame.
That's fair, right?
I think it's so lame.
It was hard.
especially when
Yeah.
it's
It
tech
was hard to
house
listen to.
and it's trying to be cool. I'm like, oh,
Guys,
Yeah,
gross.
it's not that cool.
But that's just my perspective. Like I
But
could
it is
listen
fun
to
to dance to.
I can listen to a
So-
techno track that's super serious, no issues. I could listen to any other kind of genre of music, a Turnian track, or like anything else that's serious. And I'm like, this is tight. Like a drum and bass track. I'm like, oh, it's all broody and fucking very emotional. Like, this is cool, but not house. I'm like, fucking get out of here with this fucking lame ass shit.
I feel that, yeah. I've been stacking up my USB with a bunch of like bass house tracks.
Oh, let's
and,
go.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Speaking
like,
of lame ass shit. No, I'm just kidding.
he's joking. Fuck, I completely got derailed by
You
that.
filled up an
Bass
entire
house track.
USB with bass house tracks.
Kind of sparking something. What the fuck? No, it was right before. What were you talking about right before that? God, where did that go? I didn't even smoke weed.
I can't take house seriously.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. So there were so many tracks I went through where it's like the drop was incredible. But then they have these vocals, and they're like fun, and like I get what the vibe is. It's like some rapper dude or some chick or something, and it's kind of just like turn up, like I don't even know like one of the vocals. You guys like all know the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's gonna pump it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe fucking 2016 me would have been like, yeah, this is fucking cool. But
Right.
now I just can't take it seriously.
It's
I'm
so
like,
hard.
Yeah, it's like cheesier than all of the shit I've ever done, and they're trying to be serious and cool about it. And it's like, oh,
Which is
come
funny
on.
because like that came out in like 2016 to 2018, and if you listen to it then, you'd be like, this is tight. But at the same
Totally.
time, in that time period, you look back at old festival trap from 2012 to 2014, and you're like, that shit's goofy as fuck. And now, with a 2022 perspective, you're like, no, you're both goofy as fuck.
Yeah, right, right.
You're both.
Yeah, enter the meta realm with us.
Yes, meta.
Yeah.
Where we just undercut everything with
Correct.
just fuck you.
Yeah, with just absolute.
Look,
No,
it's just not that serious, everybody.
Yeah,
no.
It's all not that serious.
and it's very aware of itself.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
this the
that's the
riff
thing.
is tight.
Yeah.
Awareness? Is that what we're doing?
Awareness.
We are awareness activists.
Awareness activist.
That's true.
2023. awareness.
We're gonna get elected on that platform.
Yeah.
2024.
Hashtag
Coming for you,
awareness,
Biden.
awareness. 2024.
Coming for you, Trump.
24?
24.
We're coming for the dog, dude.
Bork.
Coming for the dogs.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, my week's been good. Did that mix for that client, and then laid out a track that I didn't really want to lay out super early, but like I was telling you, it's kind of a different vibe than I've made other house tracks where like the drop is like two parts. It's like a silly section or just like your groove section and then the drop section, and they both together form the drop. So I'm trying to formulate what that looks like in a layout kind of thing. So I laid it out pretty quick to like figure out what's going to happen. And I think it needs a little more work to try and figure out exactly how it's going to like swap back and forth and keep the vibe happening the whole time. But I think I can make it happen. It's just going to need some massaging,
Yes.
some massaging.
Yes.
I can't just.
Massage.
Sometimes you got to work. Like the track could be like 90% done. Like it's 90% there.
Yeah.
But it's not 90% there.
It has the basic gist of elements that it needs.
Right. It's really.
Now it's about like, man, how do I arrange this
Right,
to
it's-
keep the most amount of like focus on it while
Right.
people are listening to it and all those little things.
And I think it'll benefit from an untraditional type of thing where there's no like just snare build, stop, vocal drop, bam, 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 you know, like none of that. Like I want,
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty
really,
chill.
Yeah,
Go back to the last episode if you would like to hear the
yeah, it's true.
birth.
Yeah,
Right.
the track I'm talking
It's a
about is the track
fucking
we started last
Absolute
week.
slap daddy.
Yep.
It's going to be a banger on the dance floor.
If you
I'm
scroll
so
down-
excited.
That's right.
Pretty sure since this is on YouTube, if you scroll down, right there,
Oh, it's there.
episode 81. It's
81.
right there. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm really excited for the next phase of build-ups and just like what the future of build-ups have in store. Because like, yeah, everybody and their mom is fucking so sick of the clap, 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 and the snare
Right.
rolls. And it like, it works and whatever, but like, yeah, what is the next phase?
You could do a polar opposite.
where build
where, like,
down.
Yeah, yeah. It's instead of a
Yeah.
breakdown, it's a build down. So you
Yeah.
specifically like have a little bit of a build up in the groove before the the build or the bridge, whatever you want to call it. So like sweeps up and it has a big impact. But then you can have like snares being like ba da ba 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 ba
Yeah.
ba ba
Right.
doom 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 or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, then it gets all
then-
dark.
Yeah.
Then then it just starts with the most minimal elements, and you rebuild it back up, and then you re-break it down, and then
That'd be
rebuild.
cool. Dude, the build down.
Yeah, the build down.
All you really have to do is go study pop music.
Well, that's true, too.
where it's going to go.
Yeah.
It will
It
just
always
turn
goes
into
there.
pop music because they've figured out the perfect way to go transitioning between sections of songs. They've already figured it out. It's not
Yeah.
very hard.
Sections.
So, yeah, all you have to do is just, let there be a moment where you need a change and have a change happen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you can do whatever you want. I would imagine if you're doing electronic music and you have any fucking respect for yourself, you're going to make a fun sound happen or something.
Right.
Sound design
Sound design, folks.
in that little spot,
You've heard it here first.
wherever that is. It could be a quick little sound design thing, too.
Right.
Whatever the thing
Right.
is. But
Sure.
if you're abandoning the idea that a DJ needs to be able to like throw it in and it blends with another house track's build, then or whatever the type of music it is.
Right. It still has to work
then
against other
You have to
builds.
make
Yeah,
it mix a
yeah.
bowl, but like it doesn't have to necessarily have a build. It's just kind of tricky.
Right.
Mix a build.
It's a
It's got to be mixability.
it's a tightrope.
Mixability.
It's a tightrope.
Mixability.
Tightrope
Yeah.
walk. There we go. I got it.
All right.
Ooh,
Wowzers.
Oh, Smarties.
tight.
Speaking of tight,
Smarties are tight, dude.
I got a
You got-
tight ass fucking
Tip of the week?
Sweet tip of the week. Yeah,
Oh, Shaw, dude. Fucking.
that's right.
Tips of the week are sweet, dude.
I'm pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I'll say it now. First, here, me on the podcast. Tips of the week are sweet.
I agree. This is my sweet ass tip of the week. Use OTT to find the shittiness of the sound you're working with.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
The idea goes like this. Slap 1 or 4 or 5 OTTs after something that you're working on, and then hear what that OTT brings out of it. You might notice, oh, there's like all this extra high end coming out after the sound is done. You might notice like, oh, there's a fuck ton of whatever frequency range, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You might notice a lot of aliasing, perhaps. You might notice,
Too much reverb
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
in the original sample
yeah, totally.
itself.
So
That's fun.
OTT is a really good way. You could have it on something while you're doing sound design just to see, like, am I doing the thing I want to be doing?
Right.
here?
Like how.
I'm trying to think of like a really good example, but
Well, it's basically
we said a few there.
if you, for example, if you're sound designing a bass sound and it has too much sub in it, that OTT is going to compensate real hard, pushing that sub down and bringing up the mids, and it's going to be really obvious to you after you've put that on there. You're like, oh, or at least if you've done this enough, you'd be like, oh, the sub's too hot because I'm not getting enough mids back coming out of the OTT as I should or whatever. Another thing you can do here with this in mind is throw the OTT on there and then throw an EQ in front of the OTT and start pushing around and see what it sounds like when something is like too mid-heavy coming through an OTT or too sub-heavy coming through an OTT, because it'll let you know, like the OTT will start doing funky shit. And yeah, that's a fun way to like stress test.
Yeah.
A stress
Yeah,
test.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I'll do
I like that.
a similar thing on a mix, like I was
Right.
telling
We
you
were talking
upstairs. Right before I'm about to mix, when a song is done-esque, it's written out, and I'm not going to make any more major changes, and I'm ready to like mix it. Major changes.
Major changes.
Major changes.
I will throw an L2 on the master or the pre-master and just slam it.
Yeah.
Just fucking slam the thing until it's pumping all fucking weird. Just so I
go.
can hear like what's pushing against the limiter and what's squeezing out of the limiter. Like if the hi-hat hasn't been compressed enough, the hi-hat's going to start fucking coming through in like a weird artifacty way, pumping through because the compressor can't, or the limiter's unable to tame it due to everything else.
Right.
So it's basically a stress test. I'm stress testing the whole mix. You can do the same thing with distortion. You can throw a distortion unit on your whole mix and slam it, or start to slam it. You can just slowly turn it up, and if the sub starts distorting first, it's a relatively good sign. Whoa. Amber alert. Excuse the audio on that, folks.
Sample it.
Depending on what hits the distortion first, should let you know how your curve is. So, like, you would ideally want the sub to hit the distortion first because it's the loudest on your mix, coming from low to high, you know. But as you get better, you'll learn like, oh, that's too much sub. It's hitting the distortion unit too hot compared to everything else.
Yeah.
That comes with just getting ears. That just takes years. But
Yeah.
all these kind of stress test methods are good. This is good. This is a good
Yeah.
thing.
The situation. So I thought of this as a tip while I was hanging out with our buddy Restraint.
Shout out.
Shouts.
Yesterday, and he was showing me a new EQ that he likes, and it looks like exactly like Pro Q3.
Oh, yeah. That other one he was talking
But
about.
he says it's pretty
last
clean.
week.
And he was telling me he was doing A/B tests with automating up and down gain between both of them, and he had an OTT afterwards and to try and track kind of any kind of random little extra bit
Right.
that
squeeze it
might
all
be
together.
changing between the two of them. And he was noticing the Pro Q3 would have some like little bit of high end distortion with it, and this one wouldn't have it. Yeah. So at least with gain, I don't know about. I think he
Cuts.
said that frequency automation was a little bit different with it, but
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. If you want to get super nerdy, go and test out different plugins and shit. You can go find weird little artifacts that they provide whenever you do a fucking large amount of OTT on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a magnifying
Or a small amount.
glass.
If
You're
totally.
basically just like zooming in a little bit to all the little things happening. I mean,
Yeah, it's bringing everything up to a certain volume and then making sure it stays at that exact volume until it goes away.
Yeah.
So like
Right, so you can
it's
hear
doing the job for you to show you any little
You could
shit
say
that you don't want.
you could say it's compressing the signal in an over the top manner.
Yes.
Quite.
You
Probably
could,
why they
you
call
could
it-
say that.
It's probably why they call it over the top compression.
Damn.
I don't know about that, but
Holy shit.
That's what OTT stands for. But
You heard
Yeah.
it here first, everybody.
it's a myth.
Jesus Christ.
it's a myth. It doesn't actually exist.
That was kind of making me think you can use stress testing in also like a creative idea generative way. Like if you
Okay.
put your 5 OTTs on there and you have like a dry wet controlling everything or whatever, anything to just blow out the signal, you can introduce artifacts that are in the sound that maybe could introduce like a rhythmic component or a different tonal component. And sure, it would be very, very extreme, but that could give you the idea of like, oh, if I add like a little bit of like 500 into there or like 2K just to give like an extra tonal boost kind of thing, maybe it could help you with just sound ideas, something like that.
Right. That's interesting. Using it in the reverse.
Yeah, use it in the reverse way. I remember the first year I ever met Johnny Restraint. He was really hyped on this idea of like taking his track or his like melody or his like chords, just a little segment, and like distorting the fuck out of it and filtering it in weird ways and just almost turning it into like noise. But still it had like some sort of tonality to it, and like pitching it in another weird way. And then when you do this, maybe like delays and other shit, it introduces just like you hear it differently, you know, a little
Right.
bit. Your brain is like trying to make sense of it. So maybe you hear the melody slightly different, or you hear like some rhythm inside of it that you didn't hear before normally. So it's just another like very obscure way to generate ideas,
Yeah, that's interesting.
right? Subtronics will do kind of a similar thing where he likes to put on like TV shows, like random shows he loves on Netflix, like in the background, just have them on one
While he
'cause-
produces?
While he produces, yeah.
Psychopath.
Yeah. Homie, I think he has ADHD, so he can handle it. His brain is just like, oh yeah, fucking 2 places at once and then switch back and forth, bam, bam. I get bored for a sec, making my
That's
dubstep.
not
like-
real.
But
He's going back and forth, but he's not listening to him at the same time.
dude,
Yeah,
he's
it's not
listening.
the same time.
He could have 9 TVs on at the same
You only
time,
focus on
understand
one
every
at a time,
word.
everybody.
The power of Subtronics.
He's just like, let me read real quick. I just read that whole book.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll do that, and then sometimes the
It'll like line up.
it'll
right?
line up, yeah. Or
Yeah.
you get some little like transition melody bit in your sitcom, and it's like, oh, fucking light bulb.
Right. Oh, the Seinfeld bass.
That's not bad.
Down.
Yeah, little bit.
That'd actually be a sick pre-drop. That, like doesn't fit at all. It's just like this build up to this fucking just dubstep track, and then just bow. That'd be sick, and just call
That'd be
it
a good one.
Seinfeld.
That'd be a pretty good one. I remember the first time I ever kicked it with Craftle. Shout out Crafty Boy. He was we were over at John's, and he was making something for their track they were working on,
Yeah.
and he was just dicking around doing like sound design shit. And I was on the back couch, and I was like, "Oh, dude, that just sounds like a Seinfeld riff or like a Seinfeld something." And he turns over to me, he's like, "Fuck, dude, I get that so much." Like apparently his brain just goes to Seinfeld riffs or something like that tonality.
He likes making slap bass type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. And it wasn't even like slap bassy. Like it was weird, kind of like strange like sound design. You know, like Tipper-esque fucking Strange Boy sounds. But it had like a Seinfeld vibe to it.
Strange boy
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah. I don't know. Fun little amazing story for you guys. Shout out Craftle. Yeah.
That's fun.
Shout out Craftfield.
Shout out Kraftwerks.
Shout out Craft Beer. Shout out Kraft Mac and Cheese.
Hey,
Shout
shout
out
out
the
King of
King of
Beers. Goddamn right.
Folks, as usual, we are brought to you by Always 400 and the King of Beers.
That's right.
Budweiser. Wait, let me get the ad read.
Budweiser.
Let me get the ad read here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
So it's part of the YouTube contract, but we support it.
Budweiser, a genuine draft beer made here in America, is for all of you kings and queens. JK.
And everything
Not
in
the
betweens.
It's a lager beer. It's genuine, and it's the king. Riff on Budweiser. It says. I drink Budweiser all the time,
Yeah, it's like every morning.
at least every morning.
Yeah.
I like it because the can's red, and that aligns with my conservative values. Yeah, so we're brought to you by the King of Beers.
Yep.
That's our ad read for today.
That was amazing.
Back to the episode.
Great job.
Who'd have thought the King of Beers also loves bass music?
You know, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, Craftle is playing his last show this next month.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right, because he's switching over to making like pop music now or something.
No, I don't think it's that. I think he wants to go into like I
think he's
not
doing like
talked to him about it.
songy, more songy kind of
He might
shit.
be. I thought it was he was trying to go into like sound design for video games
Oh.
kind of thing.
Bet.
And like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Can't do
I
both
could
at the
be wrong,
same
though.
time, that's for sure.
Nope. He's only one man.
You can only do one project at a time.
That's not
everybody, whenever you
Yeah.
go to work on a new project, you must quit the other project.
Vocal
Yeah.
production.
Limit yourself as much as you can in your art.
So that's a good thing to talk about. I mean, we drive it in all the time, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand this. As I meet more and more people in the local Denver scene,
We drive what in?
we drive the idea of like having projects into the
Oh, okay,
ground on
yeah.
the podcast,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth bringing up.
Yep.
So like, if you want to play house music or whatever, and you want to make your artist profile or whatever be that, instead of making your whole artist career just that one thing, just make that a project of many projects, and you are the artist. So you can make another fake name for just you as the artist, and then each project has its own name, whatever, like you would, or you can be the artist, just you, like your actual fucking government name. Doesn't
Y'all
really
don't
matter.
even
dude.
fucking know how many projects I have.
Oh, you're stacking them
true.
up.
Stacking.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to be said about that is you spread yourself too thin. It's an issue, but it's fairly easy to manage, and I think it.
Yeah.
I think
Takes seasons for a thing.
I think it also. It's like it's healthy.
Oh, a seasonal approach to it. Sorry to cut you
Aw.
off, but that's fucking. It's a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
You make lo-fi in the winter.
Focus.
You make bangers in the
Not
summer.
actual seasons.
No, like actual-
But that would be fun. But that's
Seasons.
fun. That's
yeah,
fun.
that's how I would do it.
But you know, if you want
Seasons
4
change me.
projects at once, yeah, have spring you work on this project, and summer you work on this project, like
Yeah.
whatever. Or you just like
hilarious.
you know, you have a main project that you're
In the
trying
summertime, your project is just getting your dick sucked.
To, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shucks, studio audience. But yeah, the idea of like having projects that you can kill if nothing happens. Like you can just, it doesn't matter. It's just a
Yep.
project. Like just kill
Yep.
it, start over, start a new thing. Or you can work and it becomes successful and it's great, but then you can, like, you're allowed to kill it and move on to another thing. Like if it's a project and you as the artist is slightly detached from it, then as you're gaining recognition for the project, that recognition travels back up the line to you as the artist.
That's
so
right.
you can kill that project and still have all the clout as the artist to then make another project of something you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're not starting from scratch. You have a fan base that
Yeah.
likes all the shit you make.
You have a fan base, and the people that you meet in whatever project that you're working on at one point
Oh,
will have their own pull. You'll be able to crowdsource a little bit with the people
Correct.
that are powerful that you've met throughout your
Travels.
whatever project,
mm-hmm.
and bring them in on a new thing. And like all of this just
Yep.
comes down to like constantly meeting people, constantly working on your craft, and blending the two things. Just meet people, try and work with people, because it's the funnest way to work, and you make the best shit when you work with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just keep making shit. Make,
Right.
make.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a
Turn
Tiesto.
it.
Don't just make yourself one project.
yeah.
I mean, you can if that's what you want. But that seems
if you
terrible.
want- yeah. If you want to be Tiesto,
Yeah.
sure.
Which, good luck, because there's only one. He already exists.
Yeah, and you don't want to.
You don't want to be Tiesto. You want to be the guy who's you don't know
Do
his
you want to
actual
love
name.
yourself?
You want to be the guy that nobody knows his actual name, but everybody has heard a song that he's made in one of his various projects.
Right.
That's the
I know one of them.
Wait,
though.
Fred again? Wait,
Blanca, what's his name?
Benny Blanco?
Benny
Benny Blanco.
Basically, like any of those like big writer guys,
Sia?
like Sia. Yeah, shitloads of projects. Diplo.
Does Sia have a bunch of projects? That's cool as fuck.
She did a few.
She's in quite a few.
She wrote
Oh, that's cool.
many, many, many
Yeah.
pop songs you might know.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Umbrella.
Yeah.
Ella.
Hey.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Oh,
I
that
think
was
she
Sia
did that
too?
one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Killer.
Yeah, projects
Chandelier.
Projects are huge.
Chandelier.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That's how it
1,
goes.
2, 3. Oh yeah, swing from the chandelier. Yeah, from the chandelier.
From the chandelier.
It gets like almost opera-esque.
This is a professional show, folks. As per the usual.
Imagine making opera house, like opera step.
Opera step.
That has to have been done by now, right? There's
Sounds
no way.
epic. It's just this gal hitting this fucking high C, and it's just and she's just
A C, bro. High C.
yeah, I see,
Jesus.
just like the soda.
Just like the soda.
Gotcha. On
Our
that one,
second
folks.
sponsor for today. Just kidding. We wish. We're not that cool.
No, we drink beer.
Yeah, come on.
Shine Bright Like a Diamond was Rihanna. She was the.
Oh.
She was the.
You got fucking called
No,
out,
hey,
bro.
I'm not done. She was the performer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sia wrote it.
Sia helped write the track.
Sia wrote that song.
Rihanna's great.
Look
She
it
doesn't-
up, Morgan Westbrook.
She rarely writes her own shit. She's great, but she doesn't write a lot. There's a big meme about Rihanna writing camps. It's like a big thing. Like 30 people are there writing songs.
Oh, she kills it.
Yeah, she destroys.
There's a
She's the best, but
a couple albums ago of hers. There's a song that is literally just her singing a Tame Impala tune.
oh yeah.
That's kind of sick, actually.
yeah, it's cool.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is sick for the Tame Impala guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Even more attention.
But it's literally like you back to back it, and you're like, holy fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Almost nothing changed.
It's
It's
hilarious.
just her voice, and it's great.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Right. Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Also, doesn't sound that much different.
Yeah.
No,
That
it's just like-
dude sounds like a girl.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of people out there who are like, "That's a Rihanna song." You're like, "No,
No,
it's
I heard it
Tame
a year
Impala
before it came
song."
out on Rihanna's album. Thank you.
Right.
Do you guys know Beach House at all?
Yeah.
I think you might.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first fucking like 2.5 years, maybe even longer, I was listening to Beach House. I thought it was a girl singer. Like in my mind, I was just like, oh yeah, this is a girl. Like, and I accepted that. Fucking AT told me one day, and I
Poor
was
guy.
like, no, you're so wrong, dude. I was living in the darkness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you guys judging people on their genders.
No.
Me? What did I do? What
No,
did I
him
judge?
and AT.
Oh, him and AT. Yeah, they do judge a lot on genders.
Not you. You're not very judgmental gender wise.
No, I'm very judgmental psyche wise, but gender wise, no.
Maybe aesthetic wise,
Fairly,
fashion wise.
100% a lot. Yeah. If you look like a retard,
He'll call you out.
I'm gonna judge you like a retard.
He'll
Right,
curb
right.
stomp you.
Whoa.
You show up in some shitty drip. Oh, no.
Damn.
Caleb doesn't handle it.
Wow.
I'm not gonna curb stomp
Wow.
anyone.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys.
You should have seen our fucking guest a few weeks ago. Oh, my God. Yeah. The reason we didn't have that guest show up
It's because I hugged him too hard.
because Caleb gave him a little
It's
squeeze.
hilarious. You can guess who the guest was.
Oh, yeah.
You can.
If you would like people.
Yep. Go ahead and guess.
Throw it in the comments. Please comment, subscribe, and notification button.
Throw it in the comments, guys.
Yeah. Just throw it in.
Please.
Anybody got any more tidbits of sauce?
Tidbits of sauce.
I've been trying to, I want your guys' help with this.
Okay.
I cannot figure out any sort of way this would actually be useful in production at all, but I think it's a fun idea, and there may potentially be something there.
Okay.
Instead of sidechain compression, sidechain expansion with triggers.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
But how?
It's just
Like,
MIDI.
why and
So-
when
so
and
like a gate
where?
Trigger. The gates stay closed.
Not
and
how to
trigger.
do it, but
Right.
like when would you be able to implement it in a way that would be?
I know a couple.
Oh,
Drum and bass, they do this a lot.
do they really?
Yeah.
Wow,
There's a
I'm
couple guys
so
who
behind.
do it a lot.
Of course, they're expanding.
So, yeah, of course they're expanding. They're
Yeah.
fucking so bored with everything. They're 10 years ahead of all of us.
I know, right? That's
Constantly.
why, like, yeah,
It's like the opposite of Christian music.
my little rhythm brain is just catching up.
yeah.
It's the drum and bass is the
Opposite
opposite
of
of Christian music. Actually, a great Tanko shirt.
Yeah, it's a good Tango shirt.
It's
I like
so
that.
good. I'll write
Yeah,
it down.
I'd wear
thank
that.
you.
Don't worry.
Thank you. That'd be a good one to take home. Don't worry, guys. It doesn't mean what you think it means. So what they'll do is they'll have a synth or some kind of pretty mid-heavy, almost full spectrum-y sound, kind of like whatever the chord or keys would be, and it will activate with drums or with a percussive element, whether it's like like just a little percussion thing in the background playing a good little dotted 8-note melody or something, or with the actual drums. So you get this chord thing like, and it's plucking along with the MIDI being sent from the drums.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting
It's
there.
working in tandem with the
Right.
rhythm.
It's kind of a
Right.
gating kind of thing.
You just have the gate closed until it gets a MIDI trigger and then it opens.
The tricky thing to this question for me is using specifically expansion,
Yeah.
not because in my head I'm always like, I will make the thing and tell it to gate accordingly to the other thing if I want to do something like that, which I would. That's what I would do. I wouldn't use an expander, but you could throw like some sidechain expansion onto some sort of MIDI trigger, or even perhaps like the entire drum group onto some kind of a sound to add like a movement type effect that kind of blends with your tune.
Yeah.
In general, you could make a mud pie that way. It'd be a fun little thing to do for a mud pie. Is
That'd be
be
cool.
working on a mud pie and have a drum beat in there.
Yeah.
Expansion,
Trigger from the drums.
being triggered from the drums, the entire drum channel, and then have it expanding whatever the fuck thing you want to expand.
Yeah.
It could expand a very specific effect. Like reverb or something.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or you have like the kick
as,
trigger a reverb and the snare trigger like a phaser and the hats trigger, or like something where
Right.
they all kind of do
Sure.
a separate little like.
Sure.
And then you have like a more rhythm in the mud pie, which is kind of fun.
Right. Yep, for sure.
'Cause mud pies can get
and it's
out
not
of
really
hand.
specific. It's kind of
Yeah.
like hard to tell because it's like expanding
Yeah.
something weird.
Yeah.
Whether it's an EQ boost or it's fucking the saturator, fucking bias, or whatever.
Right.
So something strange.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
thing I was
absolutely.
thinking of that you could do is say you have noise in your track or some kind of pad that's really low, but you want it kind of moving, is you could sidechain expand it in between all the drum hits. So
I'll have like a slower attack. So after
no,
it, like,
not necessarily that.
sidechains down,
You
it,
just
like-
you just physically MIDI in wherever your drum hits aren't, and then use that MIDI to trigger expansion on the noise. So every time there's no drum hit happening, this noise comes expanding through the mix. So you get like weird pumping in between all the drums of whatever your noise
That could be fun.
layer is or pad layer is. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
intrigued by that right now.
Yeah,
I wonder if
right.
that would make a really interesting drum beat if you just put like some kind of drone that's getting expanded in
Yeah.
between all the hits.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, you could kind of do the same thing by just turning it up and then sidechain.
This is
compressing it.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Just a longer release kind of thing would almost
John
be the
just
same.
says, I say use envelope followers and just map everything to whatever you want.
Yeah, right.
Which
right.
like
Oh yeah,
that's
pretty
the
much.
thing is like
Yeah.
using expansion. It's the exact point I was just making.
Right, 'cause
Just,
sidechain
like using
compression-
expansion as a thing is like maybe don't
Well, yeah,
I
it's
know,
the-
right?
it's the
a
same
lot
thing.
of the time.
I don't
Yeah.
sidechain compress.
I don't sidechain
I
compress much
sidechain
either.
volume shape, which
Yeah.
you could call compress. It is
Right.
technically
But it's just
a
an
gain
envelope
reducer.
based
Yeah,
on
right.
whatever
It's an
input
envelope.
you tell.
Right,
It's
it's a
a di-
volume envelope as opposed to a compressor, which a compressor is a volume envelope. It's kind of, it's all fucking,
Yeah.
everything's either
Nerd shit.
a gain reducer
Jesus.
or a gain manipulator or a delay. Those are the only
Yeah.
two actual plugins there
Yeah.
are. Basically.
Yeah.
you get two.
I've got a lot more than two in my DAW, bro.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Didn't we also agree distortion?
Oh,
Three.
yeah, distortion's its own thing. Distortion's great.
Yeah.
Distortion's beautiful.
Right. 'Cause it's not. Yeah. Yeah. 3.
I
guess.
love distortion.
Dude, I've been getting into distortion lately.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like just it was literally. Do you remember that day? I don't know if it
Where I
was the.
said saturate everything?
I mean, you've said that every day since I've known you, so it's hard to pick which one. But no, there was a specific day
And
where
I
we were
will.
like, I don't know if it was my track or the track I was working on with AT and AC, but we were trying to do some like grimy fucking bass, and then you just happened to be at the door, and we were like, oh, listen to this, and you like helped us with the bass a little.
What, I just threw a saturator on there?
No, so we had one, but the drive was only at like 5 to 7. And
Oh, yeah,
you were
no.
like, dude, just let me
Yeah, I
do
put
this
it
and
to
this, and
30.
then fucking crank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went up to like 30, and I was like, you could do that? You're allowed to do that? Like, there was another box that I just put myself in mentally for no fucking reason.
Right.
And it was just like, oh my God, you can fucking crank shit, and it sounds even cooler.
Right.
And
right.
like, yeah, I've just been fucking had such a hard on for distortion, distorted basses.
Dude, you
Like,
gotta crank.
you gotta crank that
You
hard on.
Gotta crank. But one thing that cranking also teaches you is it teaches you that frequency balance. Because if you distort just a super subby bass sound, you're going to lose all your mids because that fundamental is just going to do the same thing a fundamental does. Go, mwah. You know, you're going to be like,
Right.
oh, it's distorting the 30 hertz. Yeah, it's going to sound the same as it always does. That's why you're like, oh, maybe if I push down on the fundamental, then you're like, oh, there's the mids again. So it's kind of teaches you where the balance should be between your mids and your bottom end, which
Dude,
is kind of beautiful.
I have a hard time with
Very
that.
beautiful.
Yeah, distortion is beautiful like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the stress test.
It's basically it's basically our Rosetta Stone.
Sure.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. That's the teaching you Spanish thing. It's basically that.
It's basically our hooked
It's
on
full-
phonics, guys.
It is the Rosetta Stone
It is our
of
Rosetta
the
Stone.
music production.
You
I
can-
keep fucking dropping
It's
John's name tonight, but one more thing, because it's so perfect, is I was working on the Ghost House remix for his competition, and I had like a distorted like fuck you bass going, bunch of distortion and whatever, and the first thing he did, like when he came in, I was like, John, do you like play with it? Or I didn't even think I told him to play with it. He just started to
Sure.
play with it. He's John. I let it happen because of course. And
why
he-
wouldn't you?
on the bass after the distortion and everything, or maybe it was before, I can't remember. But he just took the fundamental and fucking dropped it so far, and instantly, all the mids and all the highs like shined up. And it was kind of weird for me at the time because I was like used to the way it sounded before with like probably way too much sub
A
because
bunch
I'm
of weight,
notorious
though.
for that.
Yeah.
All the weight
Yeah.
was gone. But then like, after a little bit of listening to it, I was like, oh, this is just way better. Everything is like
Yeah.
shining so
Yeah.
much more. You did the same thing on the bass house track
Yeah.
where you brought it
When
down
I
a little
mastered
bit.
it, I pulled out a bunch of fucking lows.
Yeah. And
Pushed
instantly
it
at first
into a
I was
limiter,
like,
and I had to A/B it for you because you were like, "This sounds thin."
yeah,
And
I was like, it sounds like thin and weak now.
Doesn't sound thin.
I think
Yeah. After,
Listen to the clarity when we A/B this shit.
yeah.
Right.
And I
Pay
also said
attention
that
to,
before
like-
you like brought everything back up again.
Right. Yeah.
And then you did the A/B and I
I
was
was-
like, oh, it's
I
just
was working on it
fucking- Yeah.
when you came in, but yeah,
Mhm.
what you have to think about is not does it sound fat, but does it sound like does it have dimension almost like
right.
does it have a like a shape or something like that? Like try and hear it as a shape instead of hearing it as
Right. It's got a
like-
three dimensions.
sub,
Some sort of
which
like
is like
synesthesia thing. Like I hear shapes, man.
No, you
Fucking hear
a shape
square.
has 3 dimensions, so therefore it's going to have width and it's going to have depth,
Wow.
and those are very key.
mm-hmm.
Those are very key.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah,
It's
you
about
need
that.
you need the deep and you need the wide and you need the solid center.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just like when we A/B'd that, it was like sounded sick, normal. B sounded all of a sudden it sounded like way more in your face.
So in your face.
it had so much more of like a shape to it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if you have a lot of sub, the shape that you're hearing is just fucking a sine wave. You know, like that's not very interesting.
Right. Right.
It's interesting to us,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, we like sine waves.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
You could listen to a 40
What are you
hertz
gonna do about that?
Yeah.
fucking sine wave for
fucking-
3 minutes. Call that the
100%.
song.
I love
yeah.
a sine wave.
It's basically a sauna wave.
Sauna wave. Yeah, that was so unreal though, hearing that difference. Like I just always have my sub so cranked that it's like it's bringing down everything else. And you fucking were just like, no, let me just tweak it a little bit. And instantly everything is just fucking front and center and the speakers like pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What is the EQ curve you've been talking about has been helpful for you, Caleb, recently? Are you boosting sub or pulling it back?
You're doing like a plus 48 dB boost, right? That's what you're saying.
Plus 48 dB boost. On which one is he doing it on?
On the sub.
So lower that.
In the
Sorry, I just wanted
4K.
to write that down.
That's fair.
So what I've been doing is doing a tilt on my pre before the limiter.
Basically everything except for vocals hits that.
Yes. So everything.
Which way is
besides
it tilting?
less.
It's tilting the sub down and the highs
Okay.
up.
Okay.
And the pivot point's about 500. That seems to be about the sweet spot because the 500s are kind of picky, and I'd rather have the mud below that get pushed down.
Yeah, and you're getting it on the curve, so it's kind of nice.
Right. So I throw
Keeps it balanced.
I throw that on there, and I put it about 2 decibels. Actually, we can just pull it up real quick. Do it. We can just pull it up real quick, folks. Oh, look at that! It's YouTube Analytics.
Amazing.
New project. We don't need any of this. We're just going to throw in a queue, and we'll see exactly what's happening. Turn this off. So, find your 500, basically. And then it's got a flat tilt. And I'll do about 2 decibels. Right there. Like nothing crazy, but it is pretty big. That means it's getting to about 2 over here and 2 over here. And a lot of times I'll start there and then I'll distort afterwards because I like putting a distortion unit on my pre-master. Not super heavy. It's not going crazy. It's just kind of giving a little goose. But with this in front of it, now I can sit here and kind of dial it in where most of my tracks will sit somewhere between that 2 and 1. Most of the time it's like 1.5 seems to be like the sweet spot. But it's been huge. It just...
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to like jump into your tune and figure out where it's like overall giving you an issue here or there, you can go and use one of these tilts. Bust it out either way. Do it aggressively. As we've been talking about stress testing, do it with this as well.
You can stress
Toss
test it
one
hard.
of these in there, see what you get. Beware, you're likely your tops are too loud, as most people's are, and it's gonna
Or they're
bring
too
your
quiet,
tops out.
like a lot of
I mean,
people's are.
most people's are dark, but like they're not compressed enough. So like,
Right.
if you boost them, then all of a sudden they're like
Loud. Yeah,
they
tinny.
hurt.
Right.
So like, yeah. Anyway,
But-
nuance. But
Yeah, this is
this is a fun way to kind of get yourself a
right.
perspective on
What's
your
fun is to do this and then so you print your track like what you think is a fun mix, and then you print it again with this tilt on it, name it, tilt it or whatever, and then listen to them back to back in your car.
Yeah.
And see if it cleans up a lot of bottom end and makes it really present. Because it's going to do at just 2 decibels. This is going to do a lot.
yeah, you'll be amazed. Most of the time, if I put a new tune into the DAW,
Sorry.
that I want to see what's going on wrong with it. Like a friend gives me a tune or whatever, and I try and do a little quick master. When I do that master, usually I'm bringing down lows, I'm bringing up highs, and I'm distorting.
Yeah, and I
that's
found
all it really needs.
the tilt is great because I was using shelves, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can just tilt the whole fucking thing, and it's just been the best. It's like, oh, I just tilted to 2 decibels, and then throw that into a stress test of a distortion, and then I can find the sweet spot of the tilt, and then fucking move on from there.
Yeah.
And it hasn't let me down yet.
Yep.
Which is sick.
Yep. I've been sometimes, because we've been on this thing where we've been pretty anal about our low end recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm starting to
Pretty anal about our low end. Go on.
I've been starting to
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
so I've been starting to have to add low end back in sometimes.
Yep.
Where I'm like, oh, I just underdid the low end a little bit. And then I do like the opposite tilt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh.
That
That's
do that,
pretty nice.
but then also do that, but then also like put a secondary limiter on your bass that's not as pushed or whatever. So you're doing, instead of just the opposite
It's there.
thing, just go and fix it via your actual sub mix.
Oh, yeah.
And then A/B between those. Because I found it's going to give you different kind of weight, whether you are boosting the bottom end way down in post or you're fixing the bottom end in the pre. They both give like different vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in the balance, or are you adding it kind of
Right.
at
Does
the
it
end?
need the
kind
weight?
of
Does
a
it
thing?
need
Yeah.
the color weight?
So like, yeah, it's a different.
They're different.
You could have it in the balance and then add it. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but
Something-
it's fun to check between the two.
Right. You could even take the flat idea a step further, and would it be a good idea to maybe make it like a Fletcher Munson curve that you could tilt? Like, do you think that would be beneficial in any way, or would that just be like too?
Imagine you start pulling low end out with a Fletcher Munson curve tilt thing,
Yeah.
and it just pokes crazy amounts of fucking shit at your 3K.
But it would still be, because the Fletcher Munson curve takes that into account, so it's still kind of dipping there
Right. It would like
as you're
right,
doing
but-
it.
But if you go if you went this way, then it would be boosting.
yeah.
It would be,
Yeah.
I guess, pulling that up a bit, but that's still what you're doing here, right? If anything, it would be taking into account that section. It would be bringing it down to like 0.
No,
Yeah, it would.
no,
Yeah, it would.
no, because you're doing
What are you
a
saying?
gain up or down. So like this is a flat tilt. So if it's at 0, then the line is at 0, right? If we're assuming it's a similar type of thing, Fletcher Munson curve would be at 0 when you're at 0 as the filter type, and then as you pushed it, the gain up, you would get one version, and then you get the other version, which Fletcher Munson curve kind of goes down, and then it has the extreme downs
right.
in a couple spots, but the opposite, because you're starting at 0, and then you do the curve from there, right?
Where you would basically have to have it predetermined with the Fletcher Munson curve.
It's like a
and
thing
then
that
you
doesn't
would-
exist, so there's no actual real argument around this.
And it doesn't really matter because your ears already have the Fletcher Munson curve inherently built in.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So adding more would just make it dark.
Yeah,
Too much
It
Fletcher.
would, it would almost like, and if you did the opposite, then it would counteract it and everything would sound super thin and loud.
Fletcher Munson curve is one of those things where people get.
Yeah.
I feel like they end up getting a little too overly sensitive about the idea of the Fletcher Munson curve, and you're like,
Oh, you think so?
I think
so,
I
too.
think you want to be aware that it exists, and then make music accordingly. But like, you don't need to. Like,
I don't think there's a
have
creative motive for it.
If anything, it's just like dip a little bit in the 3K range. you
That's
know?
pretty much the
Like,
only
that's
part that
all
matters.
it is like
Yeah.
Yeah, you should just always
you-
be doing this.
pay
Yeah.
attention to that fucking 2 to 5K area, and just make sure nothing's prickling at
Yeah, I
your
mean,
ears.
On my like
But
main
clipping is great for that.
Yeah. And usually you'll notice if something's fucking poking there. Like,
on my
Ew.
main mixes, say, actually, let's do this. Say this is what the curve looks like. Let's do 35, something like this. Say this is 0 here,
mm-hmm.
and then this is like negative 30 or whatever. A lot of my mixes now just look like this.
Mm-hmm.
They have this dip here, and then they have this. It kind of evens, comes back up, and then I taper it off here there at the end.
Yeah.
It like comes down. There's like this dip, and then I'll usually have these mids a little more present too, before the dip. But there's always a big fucking little hole in the high 3Ks that I carve out myself. Because then by the time I get to the mix, if the brightness is thin, it's easy enough to go back to the exact thing that I want to fulfill that spot and put it up.
Right.
But most of the time, the vocals sit right here.
Probably dip somewhere in the
don't
low
really
end
have
too.
to. Right.
Somewhere in like the 150 range or whatever.
That or I'll dip here and here on something else so that it kind of emphasizes that area there.
Yeah, we've talked about how we've noticed that in like Skrillex tracks before. In Virtual Ride tracks, I've seen that. I've also noticed in their tracks and in like Joyride tracks and stuff, they have a big dip around like the 70 to 200 area. Not like a big dip, but noticeable that like you have your big sub and then it curves down and then you have everything else.
The hole right here by the second fundamental.
Exactly. Yeah, like the second to fifth fundamental from
it
the
gives
sub.
you that super big weight.
Yeah.
Because without that second fundamental inferring your ear to that bottom fundamental, the 30 hertz just sounds like pure weight.
Yeah.
Just
right.
It's just
right.
got no context. So
and they have enough in there to like let it be full, but it's not like, doing the weird. That area is just like weird for the ear, especially on like big loud speakers.
And a lot of times you can get away with that just with sound design. Nothing happens between 100 to 300.
Sure.
Right.
Which is sick.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it sounds thin. You're going to need lots of really beefy mids to kind of help carry that.
Totally.
But it's doable. It's almost 80% of drum and bass.
Yeah, right. Right.
And if they do have something here, it's this loud and it's very specific. It's like the main sound that's like, and it's just all fucking low mid, so it's just chest in the club. It's just like, the spaghetti's coming back up, the whole time. And on that note,
oh my sweet Jesus.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is a trial run we're running on YouTube right now to see how the algorithm likes us.
Yeah. So far, it seems pretty positive. Will we pull up that screen again real quick?
If you don't mind, folks, if you're watching right now, if you wouldn't mind giving us a sub and a like or whatever, a comment for the algorithm.
A little subscribe. You know how
That'd
it goes.
Be great. Yep. You don't have to, of course. I can't get the Discord link to work right now because we kind of rushed this. So go to always400.com for all that shit. And we love you guys. We don't promote the show. It's all word of mouth.
It's all word of mouth, baby.
So tell your friends. If you're a producer, tell your friends. Tell all the bitches.
Yeah.
Yep.
Subscribe to YouTube.
Yeah, we'll be here. Always400.com.
Tell your mom to subscribe.
Yep.
She'll love it.